Smelly here from NoFX. That's right. If you want to listen to a really good podcast, it's coming up on Punk Rock Family with this fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Jordan Burns, formerly from Strung Out, but been a punk rock pioneer since the old pioneering days. That's how old he is.
Not as old, but he's older.
And sexier. So anyways, tune on in to Punk Rock Family to listen to
Punk Rock Family.
Jordan Burns talking about nonsense.
Tonight, find a piece of the quiet out to set the light. Whispering thoughts floating through my head, sinking bottom in and light in my head. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the morning, as the emptiness while I feel one more time. I grow a little over the second and passes by a little every time I close my eyes.
Was one of his signings, wasn't it?
I don't know what just happened right there, but suddenly you became clearer over here.
Yeah. It's probably because I'm sitting up a little closer. Strung Out was the first signing to Fat Records, wasn't it? Like his first band that he added to the roster.
No, that would not be correct. I think Strung Out was maybe the 4th or 5th. I think, I don't know in exactly what order, but it might have been Lagwagon and Propagandhi were first, and then, or No Use for a Name, and okay. I think then Strung Out, and then maybe Good Riddance after that. So somewhere, we're in the first 5 somewhere.
That's awesome. That's what I thought it was like real super early on. I remember getting the first, how I learned of your band was the first fat music for fat people. You know, the little this compilation CD, and it had Ashes on it, and it was just phenomenal. You know, and what was it like back then to like get going? You know what I mean? Like what was it like the early days like in Strung Out for you? You know what I mean? I know you guys like had a carpet business or something, and were doing things like practicing maybe there.
Well, the bass player, Jim Cherry, who was the one that basically hit me up to get into the band, you know, it was after I had left or been kicked out, whatever, from 10-Foot Pole, which prior to being kicked out, you know, it was Scared Straight. So was in Scared Straight for quite a while. Then it was 10-Foot Pole. I got kicked out of that, and about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks or so later, I saw Strung Out play at a show here in the Valley with NoFX and Lagwagon, and that's where Jim Cherry approached me and asked me if I wanted to play. I saw Strung Out that night. I wasn't very impressed. I thought it was really sloppy, and from what I remember, I mean, it's a long time ago, obviously. And yeah, but they gave me a tape, and I went home and I listened to the tape, and you know, the music was cranking. I could hear the music with a lot more clarity than I did at that show. So yeah, we actually got together 6 times, and the story goes, we practiced 6 times and went into the studio and recorded that first album.
That's amazing. That's Another Day in Paradise. That's a great record too. I mean, it's not like it's, you know, that's a fucking badass record. It seems like, you know, with Jason and all those dudes, like, you know, what I'm getting at is you brought precision to that band, I think. Like with your drumming, like you being a drummer, man, like not to skip over to you, you know, when you were younger, what got you playing like you play, man? Like you play like nothing I've ever heard. I mean, you're like a machine. It's so fucking just, oh man. Like when I drum and I try, please, I try. And it's it's phenomenal listening to you. Like, it's just all the things you do, and the accentations, and just the little shit you do on top of being like a metronome, man. How did you practice doing a metronome as a kid, or like, I mean, how did you get this style so rock solid?
I really didn't practice to a metronome barely at all until later in my years. I was just a punk rocker, playing drums, and influenced by so many different drummers, Neil Peart being my number one that I've mentioned a million times. And, you get influenced by all these different drummers, and I guess you try to find your own niche and bring your own style to your playing. And, I think without realizing or whatever, I had developed, my own style of fills, like creating through different drummers that I was influenced by. And, I never thought that I per se created my own style, but as I kept on going, through the band, especially, more notably in Strung Out, I guess. But actually it dated back to some of my early bands, where people would kind of, give me props on my drumming, which was always really cool. But you never played to get compliments. You played because you loved playing. So the compliments and the respect and the notice and all of that stuff, is a bonus, right? So yeah, I think when I got into Strung Out, those guys were like such ripping musicians that it actually made me step up my playing to their playing also, but I think at the time when I joined the band, maybe I was the missing link that they were looking for, and everything really meshed together with that first album. And I don't know, it was my time to shine as well as the rest of the band, and we put that first album out, and it went really well. It was the early 90s. Fat Records was just getting started, and if you were a Fat Records band, people were just taking notice just because you were a Fat Records band. So it was cool times.
It was very cool. I remember it pretty well, and I just remember, that there was a lot of good music coming out of there, and you guys kind of were at the top. You guys, could bring in some other bands, Is it like being on a label with so much talent? Like, you just look around, like everybody's doing something cool. That's got to be like kind of foster kind of like a positive environment. You know what I mean? I figure. I mean, did it make you like as in Strung Out? Did it make you guys kind of like step your game up? When you see so much other, good stuff going on around you.
I don't know if that directly did or whatever, but, we were friends with all these different bands, touring with Lagwagon in the early days and playing with all these different bands. And, I was fortunate enough to tour with Lagwagon when Derek was in the band, and Derek was incredible. And, he was just a phenomenal musician and a drummer, and a really good, funny-ass personality to hang out with. But I don't think it ever became like a contest or whatever. Like, oh my God, Lagwagon's doing this, we got to step up or whatever. And, when I joined the band, I was a little older than the guys, and I had known like all the NoFX guys since like the early 80s. So, one of my old bands toured with NoFX, in like 85, and NoFX was a shitty band back then. My little band was like, I think, a little bit more known, and I was actually just catching up with Fat Mike the other day, and we were reminiscing about that tour. It was my old band, The Grim, NoFX, Entropy, and Scared Straight. And we did this whole like winter tour, and you know, just thinking about back then, like none of us ever thought about like success or money. You know, you were stoked to get a pizza. You know, you were out there. We were just punk rockers touring, you know, and having a good time. So, you know, when I heard that they were going to be on Fat Mike's new label, I didn't know much about the label at the time. But, you know, I knew that was going to be a good thing. And of course, you know, Fatty put in a good words, and, you know, yeah, it'll be great to get Jordan in the band. And, you know, he was telling me he's responsible for getting me in the band. I was like brain fading or whatever, not specifically remembering that, but I'm sure whatever, how it worked out, he had some sort of hand in it, right? So, but, you know, when we did that and we got on the label, we made a record, and the record came out. It started getting attention. We went on tour with No Effects to Europe. You know, all the things that were happening back then. It was just kind of mind-boggling. And, you know, that was back when, like, you know, No Effects and say, like, Pennywise were on Epitaph and selling, like, 70,000 records. And we were just like blown away, you know, everyone's just like freaking out that, oh my God, they're selling 70,000 records. So just recently I found our first record statement from Fat Records. I have a tendency to keep things. And I just found our first statement and saw that we sold about 16,000 records in our first year of sales, and we were all blown away by that, you know.
I would have been. That's amazing. That's a lot of fucking records. Yeah.
I mean, it was at the time, and then to think where everything went, and you know, like if you look at like say No Effects's total album sales right now, you know, I think it's noted as over 8 million, and you know, with our band. At the time, you know, we had sold like collectively over 800,000 albums. And if you think about that for an independent band with no radio airplay or nothing, it's pretty damn good, you know. So being on the label was a great thing, you know, because like I said, being on Fat Records was getting you noticed. You know, and especially, like you said, the Fat Record comp, that first Fat Record comp that Mike did, you know, they were giving those away free to everybody. And that really got all the bands on there a lot of notice. You know, it really helped to spread the word for the bands that were out there.
You know, those compilations through the years were always just, they always had, you know, really the top tier of talent, you know, and it was just like the best bands you could listen to, really. They had good, obviously, I'm not to the Fat Records comps, you know, they just sound, you know, there was a different sound, I thought, between Epitaph and Fat Records. It just sounds different, you know what I mean? It sounds great, both, but Fat Records was what I liked. And, you know, Strung Out was one of those bands that you guys, like, almost like a decidedly, you guys, with like a metal, it's like what you were saying about them being ripping musicians. It's like Chris Aiken and all these dudes, like, they have a lot of influences, obviously. Did you have any metal influence to your drumming? I mean, I know you said Neil Peart, and, you know, Rush is like some early kind of proto-metal, I guess. I don't know what you would classify this, because, I mean, you know, they're great. You know, they're just an all-time great band. But, were you influenced anybody, any like metal drummers, Jordan, or anything like that?
100%, of course. You know, I just listened to a lot of metal. I was a punk rocker, but definitely listened to like a lot of metal, and was influenced by those type of drummers as well as the punk rock drummers. You know, so, you know, Tommy Aldridge would be another one. Tommy Lee would be another one. Bobby Blotzer from Rat would be another one. So, you know, you don't have to be, but you want to be creative and listen to other players, and you steal all these little things. You know, you hear a fill, you hear a cymbal stop, you hear a beat, and you steal these things and try and make them your own and apply them into the music that you're playing, you know, instead of, I guess, just the standard. And it's just really interesting, you know, because when I reflect back on all my playing, especially with being away and out of the band for, you know, it's been a little over 5 years now, but I'll listen back and I listen to the music and the things that I did, and I get messages from all these people still, which is really cool, that really enjoyed my playing and stuff. And, you know, I reflect back on it because in the heat of the moment or whatever, during, you don't really realize, like, why are all these people finding what I do to be so special. And it's cool to reflect back on and appreciate, you know, the fact that everyone saw something so different in my drumming.
It was, you know, I think it was just, you know, just, you guys had a melding of just all these sounds that came together just like perfectly. It was like pop punk, metal, you know, hard rock, you know, just like all the stuff that people like, you know what I mean? And, you know, and then you're back there and you like, I'm just like, I was watching an old clip. You guys were, I think you were touring for Suburban Wasteland, you know, and I'm watching you play drums and you're just like, you're like a fucking machine. Like, Solitaire was, I mean, you guys sounded fucking phenomenal. It was like, just like the record. And I couldn't believe that you're just, you know, how perfectly you played it. It was like, there's one other person I think about when I think about that. It's like Bill Stevenson, kind of, you know, because he's like so meticulous. But I think you're even more so. I mean, but you don't mean to be, like, crushing shit at the same time. Like, I found it funny. I seen something recently on YouTube. It was you and gentleman that he just played in Eric Walsh. You guys were playing together, and I was like, wow, okay, you know what I mean? That's a good idea. And he's like, yeah, you know, he said the only rule was you guys had to make tough songs. Like, they had to sound tough. You know what I mean? They couldn't be like, no whip shit. And I was like, all right. And I watched it, and I was like blown away. You're still getting it, dude. You're not even slowed down, man. Like, are you? What? Do you still play like all the time? Is this like just a? I mean, that wasn't just like some knockoff shit, dude. I mean, that was some practice drumming right there. Or I mean, at least it seemed like it to me.
Well, obviously that's completely skipping ahead to.
Well, I know, but it came to mind. I'm kind of the scatterbrain. I'm not Walter Cronkite. I'm sorry. I'm terrible.
I mean, no, I'm just pointing it out. I don't care. I'm just pointing it out that that's skipping ahead to, you know, what. Because I hadn't been playing barely at all, being out of the band. And then me and Eric, you know, Eric used to be in Poor Habit. I have been writing a lot of songs during that time and just making riffs, and I record them on my phone. And just different stuff that I come up with on the guitar. And, you know, I had been wanting to see my music created and started jamming with Eric and putting all these riffs together. And, you know, Eric's used to being in, you know, Poor Habit, and he's a really good shredding guitar player. So I had to, you know, my whole theory was we were going to really make songs that were like a lot more basic stuff that can make your head bop. And I had to get him to hold back, you know, like, you know, we're just going to play simple riffs and go back to like the roots, and it's not going to be all, you know, it's not like, it wasn't going to be like Strung Out-ish, you know, where you have to have, you know, 5, 6, 7 parts of a song or find it boring. I want boring. And, you know, we created about 22 pieces of music now. And some stuff, a lot of the stuff that we're really proud of, but the problem is getting a fucking singer. So, you can have the best music ever, and if you don't have, a good singer, your music can just go to shit. So it's a challenge on finding that, and so I don't know where it's gonna go. If we don't find a good singer, it's not going to go anywhere. And finding a good singer that will actually fit the bill and that can sing melody, it's a challenge. I've never had to do it myself, so not sure how that's going to work out or where it's going to go. But
I have a feeling that they'll find you.
Well, so far not. So far not.
Yeah, give it some time. I think somebody's gonna be like, you know what? It's a good idea to go sing for JB and fucking Eric Walsh. I think that's a good idea. You know what I mean? Somebody will. I guarantee it. But like I said, I did skip ahead. But I seen that. I got happy. So Suburban Teens Wasteland Blues. You guys, going back, you guys had really like stepped up the songwriting as compared to maybe Another Day in Paradise. What do you think that? What do you attribute that to, Jordan?
I don't know, the timing, I guess. And I think when we made that record, everyone was in the mode of play as fast as you can. That we were just gonna, make fast songs, and those guys were technical songwriters, and Jim Cherry was still in the band at the time, who was great at creating songs like Bring Out Your Dead so I don't know that there was anything, that we said, oh my God, this is our next album. We really have to step it up. I think it's just what naturally came as our progression, and I think that happened throughout all of our records. It was just natural progression in the type of songs that we wanted to make and what we wanted to write. And, you don't win with every song because you have so many people that are out there listening to every different style. One person likes this style, one person likes that style, one person likes all the styles. Some people go, oh, the new shit sucks. You can't win. You play what you want to play and make the music that you want to make. And then I think you just hope everyone likes it.
Can I ask you, there's a song on that record that I particularly loved for a long time, Somnambulance. Do you remember anything specific about recording that, or like anything like kind of weird about that song that like when you think of it, like what do you think of? You know what I mean? Like that song is fucking amazing, really. I mean, it's one of those songs that throughout my lifetime I go back to, and I don't know what it is about that song, but like it's really like a touchstone thing for me, I guess. But do you remember anything particular about that song that you on your behalf?
Not really. It's so long ago too, but I mean, it was a song that I definitely enjoyed, and I like, we continued to play that in our set list quite often, and I don't have any like certain specifics that I can put to it or whatever, because sure. I think as a fan and the people that listen to the music, people listen to your music for so many different things, like depending on the individual. So some people might be listening for, the guitar. Some people might listen for the vocal. Some people might listen for the whole song. Some people are all about the lyrics, so it's just such an individual thing, but I don't know. I don't have any like specific thing that I can recall about like an individual song like that or being in the studio, or nothing's coming to me.
No. I just wanted to ask. It was one of the things that it's like I got a few like that one, Matchbook, Velvet Alley, those ones. Velvet Alley, that's crazy. How fast were you playing there? I mean, that's it. It seems like that one's much faster than even maybe matchbook. Is it faster? Or I mean, it sounds like to my ears, it sounds like you had to be on top of that beat or something. The way you play it in that one is just, it's wild. I was like, I never could really get the hang of that one. That fucker's fast, man.
Yeah, well, they were all fast. I mean, you know, you look at Better Days or Gearbox or, you know, Velvet Alley or Too Close to See. It's, you know, it's all super fast and super upbeat, and you know, it's a different time also where you're younger and your body is more in tune with it. You know, it's physical, it's athletic, you know, and being on top of your game like that. And, you know, as you get older, I mean, it's not impossible by any means, because you see some of these guys like a Dave Lombardo or something that is just still hauling ass and killing it. But you got to play, you know, so if I had to sit down on my drums, you know, today and play a Strung Out song or a fast punk rock song, you know, I'm not like physically in shape for it, because it's a muscle memory thing. You know, you got to have your arms, your hands ready for it. Now, while I was playing with Eric, we were making some songs and it's kind of getting a little bit more back into it. We were playing, you know, we were playing a little more often, and I was starting to get a feel for things again. And once in a while, we'll even just fuck around and bust out a Strung Out song, because he was actually going to fill in once, so he knows Strung Out songs. So, but yeah, you know what I mean? You got to have the physical capability for it, and in order to keep up those tempos and be able to perform them at a quality performance, you know.
That was one thing I wanted to ask you. Like, throughout the years, like, you know, you played. I mean, those records, some of those records, they're all fast. I'm not going to get into each one. And I was like, holy shit, you know. But like Black Crosses, I'm like, Jesus, dude, you know, that's not happening. But one song in particular, though, you played different. It was fast, but it wasn't like, you know, just that 1 2 1 2. It was Car Crash Radio. That how did you not die on that? Like, that just seems like that would fucking, oh man, that had to about that one had to about kill your arms there, Jordan. You know, is it just your muscle memory was that good by then?
I don't. That's not a song to me that I would say would be a difficult one, and I don't know why it wasn't one of my favorite songs. You know, like, we'd play it live and I'd be like, you know, I wouldn't complain about it or whatever, but that song was just so to me. A lot of people like it, you know. You know, I just think I felt like that one's average. But as far as like difficulty, I mean, that's got nothing on playing like Gearbox or Better Days or something, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, or Velvet Alley, or, you know, it doesn't have that, you know, it doesn't have that really difficultness to it where it's going to put you out of breath.
Right. I would have thought when I started trying to fuck around with it, and I'm like, that dang, you know, just keeping that was like, oh yeah, fuck, man, you know. It seemed I got the other one down pat, you know, like that beat, not like you guys play it though. I mean, fuck, it sounds a little shaky at best. You guys just snap your. I mean, that one. You only used one bass pedal, right? You only used one bass pedal.
The whole debate. I mean, the debate of the pedal is, it's so funny because the debate of the pedal has gone on since the early days of our first records, and everyone talking about punk rock drummers, and he uses 2 pedals, he doesn't, he plays the punk beat with 1 pedal, he doesn't, blah 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 blah. And it's funny because it still goes on today. And most recently, some internet guy on one of the Strung Out fan pages tried to call me out and saying that I play all the punk beats with a double pedal, and that he's seen it with his own 2 eyes and blah blah blah. And, you know, most of the time, like, you ignore like the stuff on the internet, and then
sure.
I ended up commenting back because you know, I never played the punk beat with two pedals, like do that, do that, do that. You know, I actually can barely do it because I never did it. So like when I try to play that, if I'm trying to play that within a song, I'm not good at it. I can't do it. It was never my thing that I did. I mean, the only thing I did is I used the pedal for like fills, you know, or like straight like double type beats. And I tried to be creative with it, but I never used it for the punk beat. So, you know, all the people can go, oh, that's bullshit. Blah, blah, blah. It's like,
It's not bullshit.
think what you want. I mean, it doesn't even really, it makes no difference to me. I mean, I know what I did, and that's all that matters. But it was never like, it was, although it was never really like a contest or something, but it was always like a huge topic that came out through the years of drumming, you know, like who uses that double pedal for the punk beat and who plays with one, you know. My friend Eric Smelly, you know, he's got that fast, solid single kick foot, right?
Oh yeah.
So, and there's plenty of drummers out there that have that fast single kick, and you know, it's just something you develop. But that's how I played it. I always used the double kick mostly for just fills. I mean, you can take a song like Barfly or whatever, and in the beginning, I am going do do that, do do that, do do that, do do that, just like really fast, you know, do do that, do do that, do do that, do do that, do do that.
Yeah.
And I used it in the beginning there. It has that really solid punch, you know, at that up tempo. But yeah, I'm mostly a single pedal guy for the punk beat.
I knew this, but I just wanted I wanted everyone to know that you are a one. I mean, it's hard as fuck to do that. It's hard. It's hard work. You guys developed the whole style. You know, and it seems like there's plenty of drummers that can play solidly, but there's not doing Eric Sandin and you know, dude from Lagwagon, you know, Dave Ron, Derek Ford, you know, you're not, there's not many that did that like guys did it. I mean, maybe if they practice, I guess, but I'm not hearing it, you know what I mean, in current music, I'm not hearing it at all, and I love that sound. That sound, to me, I hear that drum beat, I'm like, okay, we're good, this is going to be okay. You know, no matter what comes up with it, usually it's tolerable. You know what I mean? Sometimes not, but very rarely. Just your drumming, man, it's phenomenal. Like, you guys got to Twisted Up design, and you're like unmatched. That had to, you know what I mean? Like those songs, there's so much diversity in the drumming of it. It's not just that you're also you slow stuff down at the end. It's like 3. I mean, it's just crazy, you know. And I never understood how you guys came up with these styles. Like, just, you know, I mean, you're playing along, obviously, but I mean, that did you try to like make things sound like? I mean, obviously you try, but I mean, like, just how did this develop to like where you get it so flawlessly, man? Is what I'm asking. I don't know how to explain what I'm saying. It's very badly. You know, you just made everything sound so flawless, man. And I know it wasn't a studio because I know I used to work there. You know what I mean? I know what it sounds like. You just play. Was you did you have any classical training or anything? Or you were just a punk rock drummer, right? And you just developed into what you developed into, right?
Yeah, I never did a lot of studying. I mean, I took lessons in my first year of playing, and I went to the Musicians Institute for summer school, which was just like 3 months, and that was pretty much the extent of my playing. I mean, it's really interesting because if I flash back on my early lessons when I was 15, I remember my drum teacher just had this trick with you know, playing double bass with one foot and one hand, and it's just back and forth between the kick and the floor tom, do 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 do. And that little trick right there, because I learned it, and that's like where a lot of like my fills stemmed from. You know, they're based off of that pattern like that, and so I think that was like where that was like the start of my creativity with making these different type of sounding fills. And but you know, I didn't have like a whole lot of training. I mean, I just went into being a punk rock drummer, and I didn't have the dedication and everything that it took for for all the studying. You know, sometimes I look back and I wish, you know, that I was in school and that I had went to marching band and learned all the rudiments and really developed rudiments and got good with that. You know, you have all these other guys that that did do that, and sometimes that will transfer to the drum set, and then other times like the marching guys don't transfer too well to the drum set. But you know, you look back. And I mean, Travis Barker was a marching band guy, or you know, the drummer from Dropkick Murphys. You know, so you develop all these chops and stuff where you can apply it to the drum set better. So you know, if I could go back, but it could be a toss up too, because it's possible that if I did do that, it would have developed my drumming in a different way, possibly, instead of just developing on my own. But I'm not really good with the rudiments, you know. So, but it wasn't fully called for either, you know, like in what we did. So what we did was developing beats, developing fills, creating, you know, your own style to the music that you're playing and stuff. And that was my thing, you know, being a fan of Neil Peart. You always want to create different stuff. Don't play the same shit over and over. You know, do your best not to. You know, you're going to repeat yourself because there's only certain things you can do, especially, you know, if you have a fast song, it's going to be. But I would try and break it up instead of just playing straight, you know, and
Definitely.
you know, like put in different things instead of like just straight.
Yeah, I mean, it showed too. Like it's just like you said, that for instance was one thing I was thinking of earlier. Like Better Days, it's like you broke up the foot pattern and it locked perfectly. That's one of those ones where you hear the whole fucking thing just come together and lock perfectly. And then that little guitar part, that you know, and you're just like, what the fuck, man? That's so cool. Like I listened to that and I heard that. I remember hearing that record. Obviously, that whole record is fucking amazing, you know. But I remember the first time hearing that one, and I was like, dude, that's something else. You know what I mean? And it was the '90s, and you know, what I liked about Strung Out so much, JB, was you guys had like a good sound. Like back in the '90s, I remember being a kid, it was like fucking depressing, like fucking Kurt Cobain and stuff. And that stuff's all good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it. It's good music and it's got its place. But it wasn't like back then. I didn't like it so much. You know what I mean? Like maybe I like it as an older person now with some appreciation of music. But as a young person, I didn't care for it much. It like kind of put me in a bad mood and like, you know, just kind of didn't really have a good sound to it. And then you hear something like Strung Out or, you know, one of those bands come out and you'd be like, man, this has got like almost, you know, it's like a positive sound almost. I don't know how else to put it, but like it was like putting a positive spin on music, you know, and you know, fucking skateboard, you know, motocross videos. I mean, that shit's cool. You know what I mean? Nobody's talking about like, you know, stuff because they didn't get their heroin or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they were talking about like, you know, cool shit, like, you know, surfing, fucking skateboarding. You know what I mean? Like it all went hand in hand, and it just. I don't know that like kind of like we'll ever get something like that again. I hope they do. I fucking hope so, because it was rad, you know. But I just don't understand like how such a little like cove of people brought out so much great fucking music in that time period. If you think about that, it's almost crazy. You know what I mean? Because you know you guys like I said, your Nirvana and that whole fucking grunge thing, whatever that was up there, and you know, and then you guys had just down the road, you know, you guys are making this music that has a positive twist to it and a very you know, you guys are talking about all the same shit they were, but you guys weren't doing it in a way that was, you know, poor me, you know, pity poor me. It was, you know, I don't know. It seemed like you were giving answers instead of problems. I don't know, solutions to problems maybe. It's just something I always wanted to commend people that were part of that for. It's just, you guys had a positive sound, regardless of, you know, what anybody says, you know. That had a huge effect on my life and a lot of people's lives, you know what I mean? And, you know, that fucking time period was weird, you know, so it was definitely, it's crazy to hear, you know, just a certain amount of bands. Punk rock was just a huge thing to me, obviously. And, you know, those bands always had this positive sound. I don't know if anybody did it on purpose. It just had that sound. You kind of know what I'm saying here? I mean, I could probably beat the dead horse, but I don't know what, like, where do you think that maybe came from? Like that not, do you guys purposely not want to sound like Nirvana, like purposely stuck away from like being super depressing and shit like that? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I can't speak so much on that because, you know, I think that develops out of the lyrics, and I obviously didn't write the lyrics.
Sure.
I didn't even pay that much attention to lyrics, not just our own, but in general. I've never been like a big lyric person. Now, that's not the norm, you know, like your average fan is like very, I believe, is very connected to the lyrical content. And, you know, sometimes I look back and I'll read through our lyrics or I'll read through a song. And, you know, I think Jason always was like super creative. And then, you know, going back further, obviously Jim, you know, Jerry was like really good with lyrics too. And, but the lyrical content is like, it's really different, you know, it's not whining about like, I don't know, chicks or whatever, you know, and I have like a different appreciation for the lyrical content that that we were able to develop, you know. I mean, if I'm speaking positive things about Jason, it's, you know, the way he was able to adapt to the music, the lyrical content he created, and more so the placements and the articulating of the words and how it fits and places into the songs and stuff. Now, again, I go back to saying, like, fans are so different, you know, because you have everybody, again, that focuses in on different things, and the way the music and the vibe of the band and everything is going to affect each individual personally, I think, you know. So, you know, while you might be thinking that, someone might be thinking the complete opposite or whatever, and then someone else might be just right down the middle and not even noticing all the different things that one person or another person is or isn't noticing, you know. So I don't know, music's so subjective.
I mean, it's true. It is. It's you know, there's no old, I guess, to any of it, you know, but there's a lot of little ones. You know, I tell you, lately I've seen Instagram. I was on a thing there, a live stream you had. You were showing us some best like merch and stuff throughout the years. Is that just stuff you said you have a tendency to hang on to things? You just hung on to all that stuff throughout the years? Because I mean, shit, dude, there was a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. That's another thing that Fat Mike was just talking to me about with the Punk Rock Museum. He really wants me to donate some stuff, you know, to the museum, and not necessarily Strung Out stuff, but ever since I was going to punk rock shows in my early days, I collected stuff. I collected song lists. I'd write down the dates, you know. I collected records. I collected ticket stubs. I have a huge flyer collection. And yeah, as far as Strung Out stuff, I have a fucking ton of shit. And I don't know what I'm doing with it. You know, I need to like open my own eBay store. I'm just lazy with it, and I haven't done it. I mean, most recently, If you were on that feed, maybe you saw me I found a small stack of the original lyric sheets that came with, that they didn't come with. You had to get them for Twisted by Design, because when Twisted by Design came out, the lyrics weren't included into the album. And I can't specifically remember if we purposely left them out of the record or it was a mistake. I don't recall which one it was, but you had to write to the band in order to get the lyric sheets for the band.
Really cool.
You still there?
People don't do shit like that even. Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So yeah, I just found a small stack of these, and they had a merchandise order form on it, and you want me to show you one real quick? I have it right here.
Hell yeah, sure. Yeah, you could probably fill one, huh? Fill the merchandise order with the stuff you got.
I'll explain.
That's rad, dude. This is PRF. We're sitting here talking to Jordan Burns from Strung Out, and
so this is one of the sheets. I don't know if you can see it or not, or whatever.
That's cool. Oh yeah.
So and on the back we have, like a little merchandise order form, and
oh yes, I remember these.
And I ran all the merchandise, right here out of my house, right here where I'm sitting, and we would send out the merchandise stuff, and I don't know, it was just really random to find these, and I'm thinking about putting them for sale. Like some people on there were there's only, while it's just a piece of paper, it's a relic and a piece of history from the band, right? And I think it's really cool, and I just came up on them and going like, holy shit, I bet people would want these. I think I have like 40 or 50 of them available, and it's just another relic from back in the day. But I had you could call it a problem or whatever you want to call it, but I saved like one of everything, with our t-shirts and yeah, I've got a lot of stuff laying around. So sometimes, not only with the Strung Out stuff, but with everything that you have, you start wondering, like, what are you gonna die with it, or what are you gonna do? Like,
right.
I mean,
I understand.
A big thing that I'm trying to debate on are two things right now. I have the the original Motley Crue album that they only put 900 of them out, and I was a little kid in 1981 and went to see Motley Crue. They came out during a Christmas show. Vince Neil's throwing out their albums. It's on their own label, and I have one now. People are selling that shit for $6,000 to $10,000 online, and I have it, and I have it signed by the band, and you're trying to think, like, what do I do with this? I've held on to it for 41 years or whatever it is, and do I finally put it up for sale and let it go, or like what am I doing? Nobody sees it. It's over here in my record collection. Amongst other records, like my first Bad Religion 12. I have the first Bad Religion album, the 7-inch that came out. This is one thing that Mike wants me to give up for the museum, because I've got it with the one sheet that goes with it, along with the original flyer that came out for it too. Bad Religion went to my high school. They were a few years ahead of me, and but this it's a piece of punk rock history. So,
Oh God.
letting it go, like I have like this anxiety about letting things go like that. But,
I don't blame you.
Back to the Strung Out stuff that you were seeing. Yeah, I have all these pieces of merchandise that, like a brand new sweatshirt from our 1996 tour in Europe. It's one of a kind. Like, it's probably one that's left. Like, or one that's
the only one in the world, probably. That's crazy, man.
But it's I don't know what to do with all this stuff. Do I hold on to it, or is it time to like offer it up to the fans that would be like super stoked on it? I don't know.
That's a conundrum in records. I got a thing for vinyl records, and I look at them and I'm like, I don't really see any reason to, you know what I mean? Like, I got a couple that I'm like, are pretty cool, but I don't see any reason to get rid of them anytime soon. I mean, I wouldn't rush the records. At least the records, I wouldn't rush on anything. I'd take your time, make some decisions. You know what I mean?
Well,
Bad Religion.
I think I've definitely taken my time.
Hey, look, that Bad Religion record. That's some shit. That would be something that I would be like, well, I don't think I could ever get rid of this. They might bury me with this. You know what I mean? I seen your Moto XX shirt the other day was like a Bad Religion symbol, and I was like blown away with this. I was like, that's a cool fucking shirt. And
my friend
cool how they
was one of my ideas. Like with Moto XXX trying to do some stuff that stirs the feathers in the motocross world, and I had the idea. My friend Takashi in Japan, he did the artwork, and we worked on it. And I was telling him my ideas, and because it's a knobby wheel with like the spokes going through it with the cross and stuff, and it says punk rock moto across the bottom. So. It's an obvious ripoff from Bad Religion, of course, and it's a cool shirt.
It's rad. I went to the website and I was looking at it. I was like, that's fucking cool.
It's like this one I'm wearing, right? It's the
fucking circle shirt. I seen that. I was like, hey, that's so cool. That's cool as shit.
And then it has ride fast, die punk. So my friend in Simi did the artwork on this one, and it came out really cool. So I don't know, Moto XXX has always been a cross promotion of moto and punk rock, and me and Smelly started it back in I don't know what year, 93, 94, and so yeah, that's a whole other topic, obviously. But
you guys, Brian Egan. I was fucking. You guys, motocross is the shit. Like, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know I like watching it. You know what I mean? That's one thing. Like, I live in Akron, Ohio, and it's like kind of an amalgamation of like. There used to be a bunch of rural farmland that they built a ghetto on, basically, and so there's cats that just ride motocross cycles right down the road, dude. It's like that's how they get around town. What are you gonna do? It's awesome. But every time I see one of those, I think of those hats or the shirts, or you know what I mean. And every single time, I'm like, yeah, those guys probably wouldn't know it, but fucking, it's very, very, very cool thing you guys did. I remember seeing a video, and the placement. Why I remember knowing of that was like "Homophobic" by NoFX was in the video, and that song just used to fucking crack me up. You know what I mean? Homophobic, scared of bums. I was like, well, fuck, that's brilliant. And I remember it was in the Moto XXX video that I seen that. The first time I heard that song, I guess, and you guys did some brilliant shit, man. That's basically all. I don't have a whole lot of super intelligent stuff to ask you or anything, man. Like, there's certain people you get on your show and you start talking to them, and you're just like, dude, this dude, you fan out, dude. I can't even help it. You do. I try to be cool and be like, well, your songwriting perspective, and bullshit. You know what I mean? Like the whole time I'm thinking, what about what happened that one day? You know what I mean? Like that's what's going through my mind, really. You know, and I just want to say thank you for your time, man. And
yeah, well, I think it's rad
you've done a lot of good people's lives.
I think it's rad that you had Pete Feinstone on, you know, because you know, Pete was really iconic with his playing and his whole role in Bad Religion and everything. And you know, he's been out of the game for a long time, and we'll keep in touch, I guess, here and there through Facebook or whatever. And you know, but Peter's time in Bad Religion was important, you know, and he played on a lot of the iconic songs, and you know, it's just, I don't know, it must have been cool to talk to him.
Dude, I wrote an art. Jordan there was a Facebook post that just went awry. Not awry, I mean, it went good, but it just went fucking crazy. I was talking about that for beat, that, you know, the 1-2 snap, punk rock beat, whatever people want to call it. And I was talking about like maybe like early on, like Derek O'Brien or maybe like Casey Royer might have used it a little bit here and there and things like that. And I was talking about the early guys.
Two early influences of mine.
Social Distortion and, you know, Adolescence, obviously. And, you know, these guys are great bands. They're fucking amazing, you know. And I didn't think that enough attention was given maybe to these guys as musicians, because, you know, people can say punk rock's easy to play, whatever, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, that's not necessarily the truth. I've seen something just on one of your streams, a guy was saying, you guys were kind of chatting back and forth, and he's saying about, like, metal guitar patterns make great pop punk fucking songs. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. You know what I mean? Because it's true. Out there, great drummers. That's all it was to it. And Peter, at the end, I was like, then you get to Peter Feinstone and everything changes, because it unannounced maybe to him, he was fucking faster. He was doing it like it's man, Bad Religion. I mean, it's they're I mean, fucking respect. You know what I mean? Like, they're a badass band. And you know, Peter just, there's something he did, like between something kicked in him between Suffering and No Control. You get No Control, it's just like, holy fuck, that's Bad Religion. You know what I mean? In my ears, anyway. I love Suffering, don't get me wrong, but once you got to No Control, it was a whole different ball. I got a lot. It was just, he was a badass. You know, so he just messaged me, and I was like, thank you. I was blown away. First off, blown away, and I'm, you know, thank you. You know, I'm glad. And then I just was like, fuck it, shoot the shot. You know what I mean? And I asked him, this stupid little program I have. And he's like, sure. And he was the nicest guy I'd ever talked to. Just a nice dude. Just cool as hell. And was just open to whatever. Telling us all kinds of, I mean, so it was cool, man. You know, I have a tendency towards drummers. People know that. I was just blown away. I want to thank you again for your time. It's just so fucking cool to talk to people that have had so much influence in my life and others. You know what I mean? Just, it was great. You know, I just want to more or less, like, is there anything you want to plug, JB, or anything that you got coming up that, you know, you want to tell people about, or?
No, I think we already kind of discussed that, I guess. You know, I mean, the only possible thing that would be coming up would be, you know, with the music that we've been creating. If we end up doing something with that, you know, we have a couple potential band names, but there's no reason to mention them. You know, so I don't know what's gonna happen with that or not, you know, but you know, it's just interesting, like thinking of drumming again. You know, my former band is you know, found another drummer, or they're on their second one now, and you know, the one that they had first that replaced me, who is a great drummer, even you know, the guy that they have now is a great drummer, but you know, it's just so interesting because, you know, drummers are like personalities, and I think no matter what, sure, these drummers might fit, but it's not going to be the same thing, you know. And I think I think everyone saw that in in RJ's plan, who took my spot, and while he's a great drummer, I mean, I don't know that he was doing justice to the songs. He was just overplaying the shit out of everything, and so it doesn't discredit him from his skill level, and his playing is fucking great. We toured with him and his early band. They were out with us in Pennywise, and I always watch him playing. I mean, he fucking rips, and now he's in some new metal band, which will probably suit him more, and now Daniel's in the band, and I got to meet Daniel at the Punk and Drublic Festival that Strung Out played, and I showed up there, and I had a booth there with Smelly. I was doing Motor Triple X. He was doing Pickle Sticks. And that was really the first time that I was going to be around my band. And, I ran into the band guys. I ran into Daniel, and we talked for a good half an hour or something. And he was just like super stoked to meet me. But each person is going to have a different vibe. I think Daniel's trying to match a bit more to what I played, and now they're making a new record with him. So we'll see what that brings to the table, but I thought their last record was pretty lacking, it just didn't have the catchy songs like that we made with the last album that I did with the band, which was Transmission, Alpha Delta, and which a lot of people started citing as like one of our best albums, and to have that happen so late in your career, it's pretty honoring, and once again, like trying to create different beats and different fills and everything, challenging yourself to do it. And I think I've noted in the past, like how punishing it was in the studio and how frustrating, and we did it at Ryan Green's studio, but not with Ryan Green. We did it with Kyle Black. But Ryan Green, if you look in the notes, he was noted as mental counselor, and there was a lot. I mean, a lot of drama went through that, and a lot of anger. And there were times where I was like, "Fuck this! I'm out of here." And when you reflect back on the process and stuff, you just go with the no pain, no gain, kind of theory. And then I reflect back on everything that I did, the performances that ended up coming out of me on that album and stuff. And I'm really proud of everything. So when you take another drummer and you try and recreate that vibe, it's like no other drummer is going to match you personality. It's a personality thing, you know what I mean? So I can take honor in knowing that so many people found my drumming to be, so awesome in all of those performances and stuff. And I don't know, it's humbling, it's really nice, and it's a good feeling to know that so many people enjoyed all the drumming that I created.
When I look at a band, I mean, obviously there's different players, the different instruments, but a whole, like, like Strung Out has different birds in it, opinion, and it's just a fucking fact. Like you're the drummer of Strung Out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I think of it. I don't care formerly what the fuck ever, all that bullshit. That's bullshit we put before shit, because we don't fucking chat by somebody. You know what I mean? You're the drummer Strung Out. We all know this. I mean, it is what it is. This guy can play your lines, but he didn't write them. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And I'm sure he's a great guy. He rips. You know what I mean? Whatever. You give him his credit. I mean, it is what it is. But it's, to me, for my money, you're the fucking drummer Strung Out. And that's all there is to that. So
yeah, I think Daniel, within conversing with Daniel, I think it's really cool. He conveyed that to me, and just, telling me it's an honor to meet me and all this stuff, and he's a fan. And yeah, we hung out and we had some good conversation. I mean, I had seen RJ once or twice while he was still in the band, and you know, we shot the shit and stuff, and you know, there was never absolutely no animosity, you know, between either of them, you know, or and me. So you know, it was cool to see Daniel play, and it was like actually the first time that I've seen any of the guys in the band, and you know, we exchanged some words and stuff. It was really surprising. Jason came up behind me and put his arm around my shoulder, and I look, and it's Jason. I'm like, whoa, you know, it's like, and whatever. We said hi to each other. You know, I saw Rob, and you know, we had some words, and you know, it's just really interesting. You spent 25 years in a band with these people, and then you know, you're out. And then it's silence, and the rumor mill flies, and all this bullshit goes around the internet, and people think they know what did or didn't happen, and so whatever. It was just kind of cool to. I actually stood on stage at that show and watched the band play, and it was cool, you know.
It's good to hear. Because I honestly, and I'll tell you the God's honest truth, when these kind of things happen, ever since I've started doing this, I have a tendency, I try not to read about any of it, because I don't bring that kind of stuff up. Because a lot of that I would figure too, you know what I mean? Like, you're in this band, and like you said, years and years and years. You know what I mean? All the bullshit, you know, great drumming, great songs, okay, cool. That's your life. You know what I mean? And the way I look at it is, don't want to talk about it or anything like that. You know, read these things that they would do so. You know what I mean? I read one thing that I didn't like, and it was something about bands or whatever. And I'll tell you from now on experience, you're very, very much fan oriented, very clearly good to your fans. I see almost every fucking night of the week on there doing a live stream talking about, I mean, dude, showing people t-shirts. That's fucking good to fans. I just I read something, and I was like, nah, that ain't that dude. You know what I mean? And just from my experience with you, you know what I mean? So, you know, anybody wants to say that? Nah, I don't think so. You know what I mean? That's bullshit. Like I said, we're very grateful for your time, and you've been very good to us. That video cracked me, dude. You have no idea that clip was so fucking good. It's probably the best clip we've ever got, and we got a couple hundred of them. You know what I mean? Like, probably the best one. You and Eric, dude, I was holy shit. Yeah, that was really something. I really appreciate that. That made my week, man. That was very cool of you. And
I told him I needed to. I was staying down at his house, and you know, I just raced this event. It was a 2-day event called the Surfer Cross, and so it's 1 day of racing motocross. And then the next day is a surf contest, and you get teamed up with a partner, and it's all random. So I stayed at my buddy's house Monday night, and then went racing Tuesday, and then after the race went to Smelly's house, stayed there, and then me and him went to the surf contest. He hung out. He wasn't in it. You know, he hasn't been riding dirt bikes because of all their shows and stuff. But he went there with me, but I told him I need to film this video, and he just grabbed my phone. He's all right, here we go. What's it called? So
that dude's so funny too, man. Like that dude, that was good shit. I really appreciate that, man. It was great. People loved it. They're like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, man. She's the greatest drummers we had, dude. You know what I mean? Right there. You know, like, it was wonderful. So you know, again, I want to thank you for your time, and this has been an honor, man. Talk to you. We really appreciate it, and you know, you're welcome back anytime. You know, anything, you know, just send over. We'll happily put it up for you in the story, whatever music you got, whatever. You know, we do whatever we can. We're just trying to, you know, keep punk rock around and keep people like knowing, you know, that this is just good music out there. You just got to find it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just it's All right. That will conclude the interview. This is, my Burns of formerly of Strung Out. This dude's a fucking drummer of Strung Out, dude. Many other things that he's done, and like I said, appreciate you, and welcome anytime.
Right on. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll get this up and get it edited. All right. Thank you so much. Take care, man. Gordon Strung Out, man.
Right on. Go check out motoxxx.com. Buy a hat, buy a shirt, anything.
Hats, red. Oops.